Let's go to Clifford D, the president of the Foundation for the Defense of Democracy. He joins us now in Washington. Clifford, what's your take, first of all, on this video being real and timely and on the message here?
Oh, I think it's likely real. I think it's timely. I think the message is that although the territories that the Islamic State had possessed have been taken away, nonetheless, the war goes on. I mean, Bakr al-Baghdadi, first time he's speaking on video in 5 years, he's had audio recordings. He has several sentences that this jihad, as he calls it, will continue, he says, till Judgment Day. It's an important point because you'll see people say, do we want to be involved in a forever war? Do we want to be involved in an endless war? It's really not our decision. The Islamic State and other groups, al-Qaeda among them, others who declare themselves involved in jihad, I would say the Islamic State of Iran, they all say this war is going to go on. It's going to be a war of attrition. So we either agree that we're going to fight it until we defeat our enemies, or we have to say, okay, I guess we're going to let them win.
What about the connection to Sri Lanka? Do you think there is one?
Yeah, it appears that that bit of audio was put on afterwards, even though I think the evidence suggests this is a fairly recent video. I think that may have been tacked on. But yes, I think we can presume that Sri Lanka was one of the many attacks by the Islamic State. He talks about it as being a reprisal for the territories and the towns that have been lost in Syria in particular, and in Iraq. He doesn't mention New Zealand and Christchurch. That does not appear to be part of the Sri Lankan authorities. Thought it might have something to do with it. That does not appear to be the case. And he also talks about the other places that the Islamic State continues to have cells in many, many countries. The Sahara, for example, in Arabia. We don't know quite how many countries they're in, but quite a few. They don't have territory, but they do have these cells. And they continue to consider these cells to be part of the Islamic State, part of the caliphate, which they would argue still continues to exist, even if it's in a somewhat different form right now.
All right. So what do you make of the actual timing of this video being released, in the sense that we haven't seen him since 2014? As you said, there have been audio recordings, but obviously trouble authenticating those. Why now?
Well, one reason may be that they want to assert very strongly that the Islamic State has not been in any way decisively defeated. Want to make clear that Bakr al-Baghdadi is still alive and is still in command. They may want to make sure that they're seen as relevant, and indeed they may want to take a victory lap, if you will, for what happened in Sri Lanka. All that's possible. I have to say as well, though, if you look at him compared to where he was 5 years ago, he's aged a lot. His beard is now gray. He's put on quite a bit of weight. He doesn't look particularly well. He's sitting, not standing. If you remember, in 2014, he was giving a sermon in the Grand Mosque in Mosul. Looked fairly triumphant. He doesn't look that way here. He's surrounded by, he's more like an Osama bin Laden tape. He's surrounded by some of his fighters. There's a firearm next to him on the floor. Maybe we'll see more of these, although he's always been very security conscious. This gives some clues to intelligence agencies, or may, about where he is. People think he's probably somewhere in the desert regions between Syria and Iraq. But I think this is about relevance and making sure that everybody understands ISIS may be down, but it's not out.